It's a beautiful morning. I think we were made to be courageous. We were made to lead the way. We could be the generation that finally breaks the chains. We were made to be.
You're listening to The Family Factor with Denny C, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Well, hi, everybody. Yeah, this is Denny C, finally back at you. I apologize. Let's see here. Let's make sure everything's going today as it should be. Well, it's good to be here again. I tell you what, where have I been for the last couple of weeks? Well, let's see. Getting toward the end of the beginning of the Christmas vacation, so to speak, and got very, very ill. Couldn't speak really, and we got very sick, and that's the reason why toward the end of the year you didn't hear me. And then we had a death in our family. My wife's grandfather, who was 100 years old and 8 months, had passed away not long after his wife had passed away, her grandmother. And so here at Denny C, with the Family Factor, we apologize that we've not been able to be on the air, but things should be back to normal, and we will be here every morning at this time. That could change if I get a different schedule with my real job until this job is the main schedule. But anyway, we thank you for tuning in to the Family Factor here on K98Talk.com. Why did I play Monday Night Football theme? Well, it's going to be my team, the Broncos, versus Boo, the Eagles, for the Super Bowl coming up next in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now, but that's what's going to be happening. And so anyway, I hope that everybody enjoyed the football games yesterday. And matter of fact, I thought that Peyton was a really nice man when they won. Walks right over to Tom Brady and shakes his hand. So, and it was a really, really, really different kind of a game, and I'm glad that we had a positive game yesterday. I was hoping the 49ers would have won, but they lost by just a few points. It was a close game with the 49ers. The 49ers were actually ahead in the beginning, and then they went downhill from there. But by not a lot, though. It wasn't like a runaway game on the part of the Eagles, which I wish the Eagles were not the winners, but nevertheless they were. Well, you've probably been wondering here at the talk, K98talk.com, where everybody has been. I don't know per se where everybody has been except for me, and to make a long story short, I just I had to get better and get well and then get through our family situations, and then here I'm back. So Double R is still in this world. He's going to be doing the night shows, so to speak, due to his other schedule that he has going on, being the guru of this company and the K98Talk.com with Common Ground Media. And then you have, of course, you have Dave, and he too will be getting stuff going again. But again, with Denny C, I appreciate you and your patience with us, and hope that you will not see this happen very often at all. But anyway, well, we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about what is, of course, the day today, the federal holiday, is Martin Luther King Day. And for the Jr., that is Martin Luther King Jr. And for those who look at him as a great founder of the equal rights movement, which he is. Um, some people, unfortunately, play that up, uh, which in a way that based on his statements and based on his attitude, he would be against. Um, I'm not talking about, number one, equal rights. That's not what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about us remembering him, as he was a very dogmatic help change to the climate of America in the 60s. What I'm talking about are those who basically abuse in a way that he would not agree with. But let's talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for just a moment. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born January 15th, 1929, and of course, he did not pass away until the day he was basically murdered on April the 4th, 1968. He was an American pastor, activist, humanitarian, and leader in the African American civil rights movement. He is best known for his role in the advancement of civil rights using nonviolent civil disobedience based on his Christian beliefs. He was born Michael King, but his father changed his name in honor of German reformer Martin Luther. A Baptist minister, King became a civil rights activist early in his career. He led the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott and helped found the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the SCLC, in 1957, serving as its first president. And with the SCLC, King led an unsuccessful struggle against segregation in Albany, Georgia, in 1962, and organized nonviolent protest in Birmingham, Alabama, that attracted national attention following television news coverage of the brutal police response. King also helped to organize the 1963 March on Washington, where he delivered his I Have a Dream speech. There, he established his reputation as one of the greatest orators in American history. He also established a reputation as a radical and became an object of the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Interpro, for the rest of his life. FBI agent investigated him for possible communist ties and recorded his extramarital liaisons and reported on them to government officials, and one occasion mailed King a threatening anonymous letter that he interpreted as an attempt to make him commit suicide. Now, on October 14, 1964, King received the Nobel Peace Prize for combating racial inequality through nonviolence. And in 1965, he and the SCLC helped to organize the Selma to Montgomery marches, and the following year he took the movement north to Chicago. In the final years of his life, King expanded his focus to include poverty and the Vietnam War, alienating many of his liberal allies with a 1967 speech titled Beyond Vietnam. And in 1968, King was planning a national occupation of Washington, D.C. to be called the Poor People's Campaign, when he was assassinated on April the 4th in Memphis, Tennessee. His death was followed by riots in many U.S. cities, allegations that James Earl Ray, the man convicted of killing King, had been framed or acted in concert with government agents, persisted for decades after the shooting, and the jury of 1999 civil trial found Lloyd Jowers to be complicit in a conspiracy against King. King was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal posthumously. Martin Luther King Jr. Day was established in a U.S. federal holiday in 1986. Hundreds of streets and a county in the U.S. have been renamed in his honor. A memorial statue on the National Mall was opened to the public in 2011. And so we could look more, and we might, off and on through today, being that it is a holiday in his memory, look at some different things about him. But basically, I thought it was important to start off with, being that today was Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday, something that that ought to be, definitely respectful to do. And we could turn this into human rights today and stuff like that, but we will probably do that on a different show. What happened recently in Oklahoma was you have a U.S. court judge basically strike down what was passed by the voters of the people of the state of Oklahoma against same-sex marriages. And I thought I would talk about our show today on this. And first of all, Common Ground Media is, open to anybody's discussion on anything. The main thing is, though, with me being Denny C, I'm not here to pass judgment on anybody and their choices. But I do want to talk about the possible issues that this is going to become in our upcoming election in the state of Oklahoma. Basically, it says a federal judge in Tulsa struck down Oklahoma's ban on same-sex marriage as unconstitutional on Tuesday, but prevented his ruling from going into effect while the issue makes its way through appeals. Senior U.S. District Judge Terrence C. Kern, ruling more than 9 years after Oklahoma voters overwhelmingly approved a statewide question to prohibit same-sex marriage, said that the ban discriminated against same-sex couples for no rational reason. After dissecting the arguments supporters voiced to justify the ban, Kern said that, quote, moral disapproval of homosexual as a class or same-sex marriage as a practice is not a permissible justification, unquote. Moreover, he said, protecting the sanctity of marriage wasn't a valid reason for the ban, given the high divorce rate of opposite-sex couples, and encouraging procreation wasn't logical either, since opposite-sex couples aren't required to say they'll produce offspring in order to get a marriage license. Quote, equal protection is at the very heart of our legal system and central to our consent to be governed, unquote, Kern said in his 68-page decision. Quote, it is not a scarce commodity to be meted out begrudgingly or in short portions. Therefore, the majority view in Oklahoma must give way to individual constitutional rights, unquote. Now, before we read on into this, let's just talk about these things very common sense-wise. Okay, very common sense wise. Number one, in the Constitution of the United States, that all men are created equal, unquote. That's exactly what it says. I have no problem with that. That is not the question here. But a question here. All men are created equal. Who are they created by? What God created them? Okay. That is an very open subject, what God created them. Let's carry it further. Over same-sex lifestyles, and I'm not talking about getting up, brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, but same-sex sexual relationships, what did the God who created us say about that? Was there ever in biblical history where that was frowned upon to the point that it caused destruction of some cities, such as Sodom and Gomorrah? Well, I'm quoting Scripture, and there's really no way to get around those Scriptures. But within the Holy Canon, as they call it, just starting with the Old Testament, under the Hebrew religion, same-sex relationships were to the point you would be stoned to death under the old laws of Moses. When you look at under the Christian religion, nowhere do you find where Jesus approved of that. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone for their sexual decisions. That is their personal responsibility. That's their personal gift that they have. Nowhere do you find in any of the Bible where God says you must do as I say or else, or he's going to just make you do it. You don't see that. And I do realize that in some ways, under same-sex relationships, they take the scriptures of the Word and they do have their own belief system on that. And I understand that too. But when you get to the nitty-gritty of the actual written words, you do not find those words actually in there that says that two people of the same sex category can build their lives together in a sexual relationship manner. Now, by the same token, nowhere do you find in the Bible where A, men or women have the right to rape young people. Number two, nor do you find where men have the right to take on a little bitty girl to be their sex machine, and vice versa for women. I mean, you can look at different things in the Bible. Now, when I say what I just said, I am not likening unto those of same-sex relationships as being like those who definitely are bad, where they basically rape little kids. I'm not talking about that, so do not quote me as that. We're not that kind of way here. But back to the point we're looking at. We're looking at, in the state of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma by numbers or population size voted to ban same-sex marriage in the state of Oklahoma. Now, then you carry it to the United States constitutional government part of it, where under the Constitution in this nation we live, and for by it we have our rights. You say, wait a minute, does a state have a right? Does it have a right to pass judgment where in that state they cannot block my constitutional right to live as I see fit, for all men are created equal? I see the turmoil here, and I see what the judge was thinking about here. Here is, and basically in his, not in his defense, I'm not saying that, but in his own way of thinking, he's saying, okay, first of all, if this is the method we banned this kind of act, it totally doesn't jive with the United States Constitution. So you're going to have to make sure that whatever you pass as a state does not in any way conflict with the U.S. Constitution. Now let's carry this a step further. In the state of the state of California, the state of Washington, the state of Colorado, you have the ability, if you have a doctor's note, to buy pot, to smoke it, to eat it, whatever. Okay? They passed it. Under federal law, though, it is illegal. So I have a question. If under federal law it is illegal to carry a substance of pot, and therefore if you have it on your person when you go through TSA at the airport, that they can actually bring this against you, okay? That they can bring this against you, all right? And therefore, basically, I'm looking at something, I'm getting a text here. Anyway, back to what I'm looking at. A doctor's note, to be able to get that. And so the state says, okay, so we can sell pot, and as a state we can make taxes money off of that. Then that puts it into two different categories. So you have now a substance being taken, and in some cases to help an ailment that a person may have. And then you have same-sex marriage, which is from a personality point of view, what someone would rather have in their life. It gets very, 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 very tricky. So let me say it like this. If my personal beliefs from a religious standpoint means that I cannot personally choose to have same-sex relationship with, say, Double R. Double R, don't kill me. I know you're listening out there. By the way, Double R is off today, and y'all need to catch the show later because Double R and Dave are going to be doing a holiday show at 9. And to make a long story short, they're doing the Martin Luther King Day. So, interesting, huh? That's got to be what they're doing because they said holiday show. Of course, here's the thing. Our friend Double R has a job now where he's off every national holiday. And Double R, I better get that same opportunity very soon. Anyway, having said that, back to what I'm talking about here. We need to leave those kind of rights not in the hands of government, but in the hands of a personal process. Now, that's just an open-ended statement. It's not up on me to tell you how to live your life. It's not up on me to judge you the way you live your life. That's between you and God. By the same token, it's the same thing. Let me look this up real quick. Bitter party of one of your table is waiting. Oh, bitter party of one of your table is waiting. Oh, funny. I tell you what, the guys are making me cut up today. I guess they're listening to my show. Anywho, having said that, back to what we're talking about with same-sex marriage. And there are those who disagree with what I'm saying, even though my personal beliefs on same-sex marriage is I personally would never choose to have that relationship. I personally believe it is not looked upon in a great way by God. Having said that, and I'm saying that due to common sense, my genitalia is perfectly made for a female's genitalia. Get it? Okay, that's all I'm going to say. But back to what I'm trying to make it clear here. I do not have the right to judge another. I don't. But I do have the right to judge myself, and therefore I must live according to what I believe is right under my own life. Now, do I believe that if same-sex marriages are flourishing in our nation based on my own religious beliefs, that my Creator would be happy with that? I personally believe no. But when I say that, that doesn't mean that I'm forcing my belief on you out there. Okay? Remember, we're talking about what's in the news based on what was brought before an actual state judge or federal judge in the state of Oklahoma. And, for the Honorable Judge Kern, I think that it's something that's got to have been maybe very easy for him to read and go, well, here's the basic, but by the same token, what's going to happen. So let's look at more of this story. Don Holliday, the Norman attorney who took over the case after it lost steam several years ago, said Tuesday, quote, "It's a good victory for marriage equality. It's a good victory for couples who have lived together for years in committed relationships," unquote. Now, a federal judge in Utah last month struck down the state's ban on gay marriage, passed in 2004, the same year as Oklahoma's. And the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has agreed to hear an appeal from Utah on a fast track. Oklahoma is in the same federal circuit as Utah, and Holliday said he hopes the two cases are combined. The U.S. Supreme Court last week put gay marriage on hold in Utah while the appeals court hears the case. But U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder said the marriages that already had occurred would be recognized by federal government. So then it talks about how the leaders are disappointed in this news cut. It says Tulsa County Court Clerk Sally Howe-Smith was the primary defendant in the challenge to the state ban because she declined to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple. She was represented in the case by an Arizona group called Alliance Defending Freedom. Byron Babian, an attorney for the group, said Tuesday that Kern's decision ignores the time-tested and rational definition of marriage, affirmed by 76% of Oklahoma voters, and replaces it with the recently conceived notion that marriage is a little more than special government recognition of close relationship. Quote, "A court should not impose this novel view on the people of Oklahoma. Of marriage on the people of Oklahoma. We will review the decision with our client, the Tulsa County Clerk, and consider her next steps," unquote. Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt called the decision troubling and said Tuesday that the issue, quote, most likely will end up at the U.S. Supreme Court and the outcome will dictate whether Oklahoma's constitutional provision will be upheld, unquote. Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin said, quote, I'm disappointed in the judge's ruling and troubled that the will of the people has once again been ignored by the federal government, unquote. Ryan Kissel, executive director of the ACLU of Oklahoma, said, quote, we're thrilled that the court has struck down the discriminatory law, unquote. Let me quote that again, ACLU. We're thrilled. You know what? Same-sex marriage isn't over the color of his skin. It's not over the right of women and men to be treated equal at work or in the home. Those kind of rights. Basically, what ACLU is saying here is they are for a government that allows you to do whatever you want to do without any persecution. Well, that's a whole other story. Anyway, then this article says, so much emotion. The lawsuit ruled on Tuesday was filed by two couples the day after the Oklahoma constitutional amendment was approved. Mary Bishop and Sharon Baldwin of Broken Arrow, who are both editors at the Tulsa World newspaper, challenged the state ban prohibiting same-sex marriage. Quote, there's so much emotion, I'm kind of crying right now, unquote, Bishop told the Associated Press on Tuesday. Quote, it's overwhelming to think that we finally won. She went on to say, Sharon and I want to get married here in Oklahoma. We've been together for more than 17 years. It's time. This is something that when I was young, I thought I'd never see in my lifetime. Now let's talk about something here. You know, there are a lot of couples that are not same-sex that have been living together for at least 17 years. They never got married. They just had a relationship together in the home. Period. I know a lot of people that have a relationship, whether it's sex or not, and not are married in a home. They even had kids together, but were not married in the home. Okay? So let me ask this. Is this due to tax write-offs? Is this really what it's about? They want to be able to get extra tax perks because they're married. Is that really what this could be about? I wonder. I would love if I could ask a question, and I may do that. I may contact them there at the Tulsa World newspaper and say, I just got a simple question for K98talk.com. Just a simple question. Is the reason why you're for same-sex marriages isn't because you could not have sex together? You can. Nothing's withholding them from that. Is it because you could not live together? You can. There's no one holding you from that. You know, when I look at all the reasons, they're living their lives together, they're eating together, they're shopping together, they're having sex together, they're planning their lives together. The only thing they cannot do, because the income tax laws, when we file our returns and stuff, are geared for quote unquote marriage, is have certain write-offs. So you've got to look at these bigger pictures. To me, it's not about their relationships. It's not about being married to have a relationship. Nowhere in Oklahoma can you not have a same-sex relationship. Now, whether I'm for it or against it is not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is what is the very essence of why they argued to be able to have, quote, the word marriage in their relationship. Because under federal tax government laws, they get to take extra perks. That's my opinion. But think about it. When they file together, I mean, and here's the point. If there's anything in the government tax laws that is not allowing them to get them because they, quote-unquote, do not have a marriage license, then they need to talk to their representatives about passing laws to change things when it comes to the tax laws. Just think about that. I mean, come on. You know? Anyway, and if it's more than that, I have got to see in my eyes where two people in a same-sex relationship And I'm not even talking about really having sex. You know, to me, that's not even a part of this whole conversation. It's not. It is not. Is it not the fact they want certain rights that married of the opposite sex couples get in their taxes? Whether it's state, whether it's federal, whether it's county, is there not? Whether it is, I don't know, insurance. And if so, were there not certain laws passed where, same-sex couples or couples that just live together that are not necessarily same-sex can still get certain write-offs called the significant other? Huh? Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Now, here's the interesting thing. And if you're listening to this show, what I'm about to say again, I'm not trying to say that you thought this or you said this, but I am sure that when people went to church the next Sunday, or Wednesday, whichever it was, thought, oh, the world's coming to an end and the Lord's going to come and condemn the United States and preferably the state of Oklahoma because of what's going on here. You know what? We've had governments throughout time began that had their own laws that did and did not agree with God and did not last. Let's do it more like this. You and me as individuals need to live the life we choose to live, not passing judgment on another, but passing judgment upon ourselves. My worst judge needs to be me. Am I living according to what I believe, that I profess, that I teach, that I uphold? Or do I just say that because that's a part of the end game where I go to church and da-da-da-da-da? What is it? Well, reading more in this article, it says, in the decision, Ken dismissed the complaints regarding the federal law and said Barton and Gay did not have standing to sue the Tulsa County clerk over the state's prohibition on recognizing their out-of-state marriage because the clerk wasn't the right person to sue over that issue. And that's right. The clerk is following the state law. And they know that. These two women that are in this whole thing are smart women. They know the facts. But it says Kern's decision marked the third time a federal judge has struck down a state ban. Utah and California were the other states. Kern, in 1994 appointee of former President Bill Clinton, said in his decision that civil marriage in Oklahoma is not an institution with moral requirements for opposite-sex couples. Unquote. The Tulsa County clerk had said, quote, does not ask a couple if they intend to be faithful to one another, if they intend to procreate, or if they would someday consider divorce, thereby potentially leaving their child to be raised in a single-parent home. It says, we don't ask that. And, quote, with respect to marriage licenses, the state has already opened the courthouse doors to opposite-sex couples without any moral, procreative, parenting, or fidelity requirements, unquote. Quote, exclusion of just one class of citizens from receiving a marriage license based upon the perceived threat that they pose to the marital institution is, at bottom, an arbitrary exclusion based upon the majority's disapproval of the defined class. It is also insulting to same-sex couples who are human beings capable of forming loving, committed, enduring relationships, unquote. In this article, I've read nothing new that just stands out and says, think about this, nothing that says, just because we do not have a marital license for those of the same sex does not mean you can't have that relationship. So, if you're listening to this show, I don't mean this disrespectful. What I want to know is try to have an understanding. If you could, I'd love it if you would simply email me at thefamilyfactor@live.com, thefamilyfactor@live.com. I want you to email me, and seriously, what I'm missing here over the definition of marriage, the original definition of marriage, okay, what it is. And in that definition of that marriage, what were the actions allowable between the two people in the marriage? Number one. Number two, You have to understand, now think about this, you have to understand that marriage overall, under the ancient orders, we're talking about the old lifestyles of old, you had a man and a woman. The men had a responsibility in these areas. The woman had a responsibility in these areas. And together, in this union, their family would mature and grow. That when this sect of people in a marriage didn't do their responsibilities and put in more work on the other person's responsibilities, it created all kinds of chaos within a civil society. I mean, if you look back at societies of old and you see families where husbands, just men, let's just say men, not husbands, let's just say men of these families, did not care come Sunday how the kids were being raised, did not care come Sunday if the money was coming in to take care of the family, did not care come Sunday as to their responsibilities, what happened to those societies, huh? What happened to them? Where are they today? They're not around, are they? By the same token, those marriages where you had both man and woman, husband and wife, with their responsibilities being met, had societies that flourished and grew and were happy and were very complete. Now, in this day and time, and by the way, there were same-sex relationships for eons of human life. So we're not talking about this anything that's new business. But, okay, if you look at the France and all those, there's always been same-sex relationships. When you look at England, when you look at France, when you look at even in Germany, when you look at every relationship out there, you had same-sex relationships. But the main thing that I'm really wondering, and I would love to talk to the women, not in judgment, but just to get more feedback information on, is are they wanting, quote unquote, a marriage license so they have added perks that they don't get without a marriage license? Unquote. And guys, let's think about it like this. Men, I'm talking to you. What if instead of two women, these were two men who were arguing for this? You notice there's not two men here arguing for this. It's two women arguing for this. And in some societies, women would not have the rights to argue for this. So they already live in a nation where women have better freedoms, as they should. I find it interesting. I really find it interesting. But if you want, you can always, please email me, help me understand under that one little perk that is possible. Now let's see here. I think I've been getting some information here, and I haven't been paying attention, and I apologize to you listeners out there. Okay. Bitter party of one, your table is waiting. Bitter party of one. It's also about life insurance and other rights only affordable to a legal couple. Exactly. That's exactly. Thank you, whoever you is out there talking to me. That's right. And it goes on to say, my point is that this could be solved with a civil union, not by changing the definition of marriage. Well, isn't that what we've been saying? I believe he is right as well. Let's see here. Let me just type in the words, amen, brother, to this individual. But by the way, it's double R. And but anyway, but it's funny. I just find it's interesting that we have a day and time where, we for some reason are dealing with issues that it just kills me, Give me just a moment because I'm going to look for something as well. Because this is not about crucifying those of a same-sex relationship. This is not about judging them either. What it is deep down inside, they know that what it's about it's about themselves getting certain perks they don't have without the marriage license. And that's really what we're talking about here. Let's see here. Give me just a minute. Looking at something real quick. Let's see here. Okay. But isn't it interesting how people just, I don't know. Now, again, you can email us at thefamilyfactor@live.com. You can also go to my Twitter account, either at LifeLucky or Denny C, and we can also look into this. Give me just a moment. I'm looking for something real quickly here. Let's see here. Okay. But I find it interesting that, everybody's going to be talking about this. It's in the news, da-da-da-da-da. But what it boils down to is, from a legal reason, what will be the end result, I don't know why everybody wants to make a push about it, but that's why I thought I'd just talk about it, just because I just think it's interesting, I just think it's interesting. But having said that, what Martin Luther King and those who believe as Martin Luther King does, and I'm for the things that he also promoted, he himself would not be for same-sex marriage, okay? He wouldn't be. He's old school. But in no way would he say they don't have rights, okay? They would not say that. So, I just find it interesting that everybody wants to do that kind of stuff, because it's just not so. Give me just a minute. I want to get something real quickly here. And if we were able to be on together right now, Double R would be going on and on about his thoughts on this matter, which he was as well. Let's see here. But, it'll get better, that's for sure. It will get better. But what I find interesting is the fact that let's see here. We're going to take just a moment of a break real quickly here. Again, now we're on until roughly around 9 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, you're going to have a holiday show, which I can't wait to hear myself. I want to see what these guys have to talk about. Let's take a pause for the cause of the upcoming Super Bowl coming.
Alright, this one goes out to all you Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Goes a little something like this. Well, there's a well-known place they call Heinz Field that has a group of guys that are made of steel. When they forged these men, they broke the mold and then painted them up in black and gold. Set them out on fresh green grass, said get the ball and run real fast. Go out long for a touchdown pass, taught them everything about kicking. They spent 16 weeks kicking, but consider 13-3 just warming up. Now they're all warmed up and ready to roll. Yeah, Pittsburgh headed to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, I know that. You wanna know how I know? Oh, it's simple. Because we got Bill Power running the show. We got Chad Scott in Mexico. Cordell may run, Cordell may throw. We'll stick the food on you and then you know that this offense ain't messing messing around. A 36-speed bus gonna run you down. Baltimore, Oakland, Miami, and New England coming up against a killer D. Jason Eildon up in your face. Drive your head to the turf, put you in your place. We got one vision, got one goal. Pittsburgh's head to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, they're going all the way this year. I guess they gotta get that one for the thumb, you know what I mean? They're gonna play real hard, stripe and strive to shoot to win ring number 5. You Rams and Bears, you better watch your back. They're gonna be a full-scale football attack. Our reinforcements up in the stands, 85,000 Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Every call, every play, them folks are behind them all the way. Hope you people can understand, nothing right than a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Swing terrible tiles of black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl. Swing terrible tiles, black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl. Swing terrible tiles of black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl.
I hadn't heard that in a long time. I thought I would just play it for the fun of it, even though it's not Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh didn't have a good year this year. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny, so I thought I'd play it. Oh my goodness. Sorry, everybody. I hope I didn't offend you out there. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what. We got it. Just one more time. We have got to... we got to listen to it one more time. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Alright, this one goes out to all you Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Goes a little something like this. Well, there's a well-known place they call Heinz Field that has a group of guys that are made of steel. When they forged these men, they broke the mold and then painted them up in black and gold. Set them out on fresh green grass, said get the ball and run real fast. Go wide long for a touchdown pass, taught them everything about kicking. They spent 16 weeks kicking, but consider 13-3 just warming up. Now they're all warmed up and ready to roll. Yeah, Pittsburgh headed to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, I know that. You wanna know how I know? Oh, it's simple. Because we got Bill Power running the show. We got Chad Scott in Plexico. Cordell may run, Cordell may throw. We'll stick the food on you and then you'll know that this offense ain't messing around. A 36-speed bus gonna run you down. Baltimore, Oakland, Miami, and New England coming up against a killer D. Jason Eildon up in your face. Drive your head to the turf, put you in your place. We got one vision, got one goal. Pittsburgh's head to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, they're going all the way this year. I guess they gotta get that one for the thumb, you know what I mean? They're gonna play real hard, stripe and strive to shoot to win ring number 5. You Rams and Bears, you better watch your back. They're gonna be a full-scale football attack. Our reinforcements up in the stands, 85,000 Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Every call, every play, them folks are behind them all the way. Hope you people can understand, nothing right than a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Swing terrible tiles of black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl. Swing terrible tiles, black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl. Swing terrible tiles of black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl.
I really like that. I tell you what, that is funny. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Oh boy. Sorry, I had to talk about that. Anyway, Pittsburgh's not going to the Super Bowl. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a day. What a day. What a day. Anyway, let's see here. Look at something real quickly here. That is so funny. So, we're going to be having not the 49ers, boo, but Seattle, boo, going against the Broncos. Yay! I'm so happy about that coming up. And I'm already off. Yes, I already took off for that Sunday. I am off! Yes. But if you couldn't get off, unfortunately, it's not my problem. I'm sorry to tell you that. Anyway, oh my goodness. But It will get better. It will definitely get better. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Okay. But I do hope that things are going well for you today. I'm sorry that we've been talking about really just one aspect of something today. It's going to be, I don't know yet what Double R and Dave are going to be talking about. I'm glad to hear them back on the show today on this holiday. Let's see here. Back when I was very, very young, high school that is, I always wrote songs. And, you know, I'm going to start writing music again, and we will be having different, you know, like I do the news breaks and stuff like that. Like, for instance, like right now we have something like this going on. Give me just a minute and I'll show you.
We'll be right back with the Family Factor with Denny C.
Anyway, that's just, you know, a little blurb I put in for our group, and there's going to be more real stuff. That was just I did it off the cuff one day because Double R kept riding my bums. You need to do some little stuff, and so I did it. But anyway, Double R, I'm sorry I'm talking about you right now, but we're going to be having more stuff like that now. As a part of music, I love music. Matter of fact, I may bring back a show called 50 Shades of Music. Now, I love music. It is my main thing that I love. And, you know, Double R can sing good too, by the way. And I think he's going to be having some songs introduced to our K98Talk.com himself for just different breaks and stuff. But, let's see here. Let's listen to this one for a moment. I don't remember this one. I just found it. It's called He Is the Answer. I wrote this a long time ago. Double R goes, I stepped out to make coffee and came back to organ music. I said, hey, I wrote this. No, guys, I was just playing it for just a moment. Anyway, so today we've been talking about, oh my goodness, the marriage license issues with same-sex marriages. Anyway, Now, again, any comments you have, please email them to us, and we'll be glad to talk about it tomorrow on the show. And I'm glad that we're back up and running. And the shows with Double R and Dave and myself, and hopefully others, will be just getting very busy. Um, we we are not perfect people. And in nowhere in these shows are you going to find us coming across, although we may sound like it, we're not going to be coming across as though we're God, because we're not. But what we will be doing is we're going to be sharing our thoughts on something. And I just thought, coming back, this would be a good show to kick it back off with what was passed by federal judge in the state of Oklahoma over same-sex marriages. Now, there are a lot of other things that we could talk about today, and we're not going to because this was just getting the show back off the ground again. I've been on the air for about an hour. My hope is that, you will listen to our shows again as you were. We are going to be having some upcoming interviews with different people. I have, remember back last year on when we first started our show going, I had an interview with writers of a book that was to help support those who lost things and even died in the tornado with Moore. And, there's another book coming out. Oh, brother. Speak for yourself. Ma wah 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 wah. Anyway, that's Dave. I mean, that's Double R. He's being mean. Anyway, so, but back to what I was going to say. We're going to be having more interviews with them. Now, their books are available for Kindles and for books themselves at Amazon. But they're coming out with another 2 different books, and we'll be talking with the authors of those books very soon. If you ever want to be on any of our shows, let's say you have, we got elections coming up this year. We're going to be talking about those elections. I'm going to be talking about elections from a family point of view as I did today. Double R will be definitely talking about those who are running for office. Probably in a "we're going to kill you" sound, but hey, that's Double R for you. Dave, I don't know. Dave will be just kind of grooving with the music as he talks about what he likes. Man, like we're just here to like bring you into like the world of music coolies. Anyway, that's what we're going to be having. Just different stuff that are growing. But it's something that oftentimes you wonder who these idiots are behind these microphones. Well, the good thing is you'll never know who he is. In the future you might, but you'll never see, tweedly tweedly dum kind of stuff. You just won't see us. We're all on our own, As crazy as that sounds. But anyway, let's see. Let me look at something real quickly here. Okay. Just looking at something real quickly. I know I'm not going to play anything that's ridiculous. Oh, here we go. Give me just a moment. I am putting up another song for us here. Now, this song that we're going to be listening to is basically a song that was actually written as a soundtrack piece, and I won't go into the soundtrack piece, but it was written for that, a good while ago. We have actually played it on the show before, and it may still be in our repertoire, but in case it's not, I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. In just a moment. Let's see here. Just getting something done real quick. Almost done here. Let's see here. Okay. Bear with me just a moment. I'm looking for something that I just did. I don't know where it went. Hold on, please. There it is. Okay. So, let me play this real quickly for you. Again, this was back when I was a busy person. But we'll get her played for you. Here it is. And this will be the last little weird break we take. And there you have it. I wrote that song and recorded that song back when I was 16 years old. And I had a pretty good lifestyle, and things can change in your life that causes you to start over, and that happened to happen for me. Life is uncertain, and you need to make sure that the choices that you make, even on a daily basis, do not have a long-lasting repercussion. Hey, I see Dave's online. Wow, Dave's online. By the way, the guitarist in that also had the same name as Dave. Believe it or not, exact same name. Didn't look like him, but same name. He was my best friend in high school. And lo and behold, I find a Dave Brown later in my life who's doing a show with us. But anyway, they're going to be coming on here and be doing a show here very shortly. And so we will not be staying on the air any longer. But tomorrow we'll be going back to our normal mode of work on this. And I appreciate everybody for giving us a little break due to different situations going on in my life, as well as in Dave's life, as well as in Double R's life. And so, you just call us DDS, Double R Dave, and Triple D, Triple D, Double R Dave, and Denny C, Double D, Triple D. I like that, Triple D. The Triple D at the Common Ground Media, which is also known as K98Talk.com. Anyway, we also want to thank JT out there and all that he's done with his ongoing progress with music in this world. We have too many people trying to make money off it with radio shows that basically, well, we do need funds to live on. And if you want to be somebody who has a plug on here, just talk to Double R. He'll tell you about our plugs and basically what it costs to have a commercial with us. As we appreciate all you listeners out there. We've been growing. We have a lot more listeners now than we did way in the future. And so, anyway, Dave kills me. Anyway, coming up at 9 o'clock on the K98Todd.com, you're going to have Double R and you're going to have Dave, just like old times, talking about something, which I can't wait to listen to. Those two guys, when they're on the air, they gel really good. I mean, Double R loses his control. He gets a little heated. He gets a little action going. And at the same time, you got either, oh, man, what in the name am I thinking of here? Oh, these two guys did some great movies in the late 70s, early 80s. Oh my goodness, my favorite one is what is the name of that movie? It's my favorite one. Anyway, it's where he goes, I chased the dog around with a baggie, man. Yeah, he ate my Stokes, man. And I chased him around with a baggie for 3 days, man. Oh man, what are those two? Cheech and Chong. So you're gonna have Cheech and Chong coming up here. You're gonna have Cheech and Chong coming up here at 9 o'clock. I'm kidding. Anyway. What? Control? I has no control. I tell you what, Double R is making me laugh here. And Dave's being Mr. Quiet Guy. But anyway, and you're a little late on Cheech and Chong. By the way, Cheech is with a C-H-E-E-C-H, not a C-H-H-E-C-H. Anyway, but they're going to be coming up at 9 to give us the old-fashioned talk they used to give us, which we need them so badly in our lives again. And, by the way, if you are not paying your child support, we're going to hunt you down. Anyway, having said that, had to have fun with old David on that one. And then old Double R with that one. But today we've been talking about the recent written thing by the federal judge over the same-sex marriage and marriage laws. Let's see here. Yeah, he just called me what my wife calls me on a consistent basis. He called me a dork. Yes, I am a dork. My wife makes sure I know that on a daily basis. Anyway, Having said that, well, this is Double R. We thank you for tuning. This is Double R. This is Denny C, guys. I'm so sorry out there in the listening world. This is Denny C. We thank you for tuning into the Family Factor today. We're going to go ahead and bring the show to a close. Tomorrow we'll be back to our regular 2 hours of mayhem. But we do thank you for listening to the Family Factor with Denny C. We looked at Martin Luther King today, and rightly so, a man who did touch many lives and made some great changes, even though it cost him his life by the idiots of the 1960s. But coming up, whenever they decide to, they can do it at 8:30 now. They'll come on with their holiday show. So anyway, this is Double R signing off for the Family Factor. Get it? It's Denny C signing off for the Family Factor. Double R and Dave will be coming on in about anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. So we hope you tune in to K98Talk.com for the greatest talk shows you're ever going to find, which is really odd at sometimes. This is Double R. It's coming back on in a moment. Trying to steal my identity won't help you much. Seriously, this is Denny C. You guys have a great Monday. This is Monday? Yeah, this is Monday. A great Monday to your life. And we will be back with you tomorrow morning. So have a great day. Again, this is Denny C signing off. We got to do this one more time. 2 more things. We're going to play this first. And then this.
Alright, this one goes out to all you Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeehaw! Pittsburgh lost so bad.
Goes a little something like this.
Yeah, right.
Well, there's a well-known place they call Heinz Field that has a group of guys that are made of steel. When they forged these men, they broke the mold and then painted them up in black and gold. Set them out on fresh green grass, said get the ball and run real fast. Go wide long for a touchdown pass, taught them everything about kicking. They have spent 16 weeks kicking, but consider 13-3 just warming up. Now they're all warmed up and ready to roll. Yeah, Pittsburgh headed to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, I know that. You wanna know how I know? Oh, it's simple. Because we got Bill Cowher running the show. We got Chad Scott in Plexico. Cordell may run, Cordell may throw. Stick the food on you and then you'll know that this offense ain't messing around. A 36-speed bus gonna run you down. Baltimore, Oakland, Miami, and New England coming up against a killer D. Jason Gilding up in your face. Drive your head into the turf, put you in your place. We got one vision, got one goal. Pittsburgh's head to the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, they're going all the way this year. I guess they gotta get that one for the thumb, you know what I mean? They're gonna play real hard, stripe and strive, cause they're shooting to win ring number 5. And you Rams and Bears, you better watch your back. They're gonna be a full-scale football attack. Our reinforcements up in the stands, 85,000 Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Every call, every play, them folks are behind them all the way. Hope you people can understand, nothing righter than a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Swing terrible tiles of black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl. Swing terrible tiles, black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl. Swing terrible tiles of black and gold, cause Pittsburgh's headed to the Super Bowl.
Yeehaw! Well, before we sign off, we're going to just do 2 more things because we got the nice game coming in 2 weeks. What will we be giving you? Well, we're about to find out. Let's see here. This one. And oh, what's coming? Give me just a minute. Waiting for it to load up. Let's see here. Yeah, let's just go to this one first.
Bud Light presents Real American Heroes.
Real American heroes.
Today we salute you, Mr. Bowling Shoe Giver Outer.
Mr. Bowling Shoe Giver Outer.
Your tireless efforts keep our feet comfy and sanitized with mountain freshness.
Mountain freshness.
Instinctively, you match left shoe with right, carefully placing each pair in its own tiny shoe house.
Check the number on the back.
One wrong move, and we're on the fast train to Blisterville.
Oh, yeah.
Is he a 9.5 or a 10?
Yeah.
You know. Why? Because you're Mr. Bowling Shoe Giver Outer.
We couldn't bowl without you.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, mister, and know it's no accident those shoes are red, white, and blue.
No, we couldn't bowl without
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. Bud Light presents Real American Heroes.
real American heroes.
Today we salute you, Mr. Footlong Hot Dog Inventor.
Mr. Footlong Hot Dog Inventor.
When conventional wisdom said no one could make a hot dog longer than 6 inches, you dared to dream.
Dare to dream.
You knew the limitations of a regular-size hot dog bun, and you ignored them.
Can't stop me now.
You made a 10-inch wiener, and people cheered.
Oh,
But you weren't satisfied. You said, wait, I think I can still give you 2 more inches.
gotta want it.
And so the footlong was born. So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, Mr. Hot Dog Hero, because you gave every single one of us our fondest wish, a bigger wiener.
Thank you, thank you.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to play this one. So, and no, I did not give no Budweiser free space. Those commercials, I'm sorry, whoever dreamed those up were so funny. You know? So anyway, can you tell I'm happy that the Broncos won? I'm so happy that the Broncos won. Matter of fact, we need to hear it here at Common Ground Media. We just need to come up with a song for the Broncos. You know, like the Broncos won, do the Bronco, do the Bronco, do the Broncos won, do the Bronco, do the Bronco, and the Broncos won, do the Bronco, and the Bronco, painted. So you could have different things in the background at the same time. You could have that song, painted, woo, at the beach, and the Broncos won, woo. Anyway, yes, I've been a little weird today, but I'm just glad to be back on the air. Glad to be back on the air. So this is Denny C signing off the air, as the guys will be bringing on their show in just a minute. And again, we want to thank y'all for listening. And this show will be definitely a lot more straight on as it was earlier today. But we thank you so much for tuning into the Family Factor. And you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday to your week. And again, if you need to contact us over anything I've said or done, hey, I'll be glad to take the sticking your nose in my face. That's fine. But just send it to the Family Factor at live.com. Okay, I'm about to pull your plug. Well, this is Denny C signing off the air. You guys have a great, great Monday.